Hi everybody, Fatty and I are back. I wanted to talk today about the Jeffrey Allen course that I took through Mind Valley because I did see some significant changes and I just wanted to share those with everybody. That course is like taking a laxative for your soul. Like the amount of stuff that just dropped off me is incredible. Physically, emotionally, psychically. I can't say enough good things about it. Or it's the aliens reprogramming my DNA during COVID. That could be the reason too. So I took the duality course and now I am doing his transcending course. As this course for me, I mean, something else might resonate with you. Jeffrey Allen really resonated for me, but I do have to note that Jeffrey Allen resonated for me because it really was a time that I went from intellectual spirituality to more practicing spirituality in a really practical way. I mean, I've always been somebody who prays and does yoga and stuff like that. But there is just something about the combination of the time of COVID and being alone so much and being done with a lot of things in my life that I just was really ready to be really committed and really practical and no mess. The first thing that I did notice with the course is that I felt grounded, and grounded is such a word that everybody throws around, and I think there's a lot of spiritual terms that people throw around and they don't really know what they mean until you actually really experience it. So I mean, I'm sure I was like, yeah, I walk barefoot on the grass and I feel grounded, but it's like a world of difference, really feeling grounded. The only way I can describe being grounded is it's that feeling I had when I was a kid, when I was on the track team, being physical, playing baseball, when I was riding my bike with my friends, going exploring, getting ice cream, candy. Life was simple and I had a safe and secure home. And summers just felt endless. That's what grounding feels like. It increases my ability to go through life. Somewhere along the line, even though I've always been physically active, somewhere on the line I got out of my body. And Jeffrey Allen, I thought of this, and then Jeffrey Allen told a story about how he wasn't in his body either. So he tends to resonate with me because I'm cerebral, intellectual, I'm a reader, I'm a thinker, I'm an analyzer, and I think over the years I didn't even realize that I wasn't in my body anymore. I wasn't grounded. I wasn't feeling that kid 10-year-old summertime feeling. So that feels incredible because that feeling above all others is maybe my favorite feeling, and it is when I felt most like myself. I mean, being a kid was hard. I'm definitely making it rose colored. But if I can just distill all the good feelings down to that, that is my favorite feeling. And I feel more and more like that. And what has come with that is weight loss. I'm happier with my body than I've been in at least 5 years. The weight just dropped off, that kind of weight loss in all areas. I don't think it's a significant, it's not I lost 50 pounds or anything like that, but it's just it's a weight loss that's I'm back to the shape of my body. If that makes sense, the body that feels like mine. If it just, I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird. It's a surreal feeling. I feel like the media and a lot of YouTube videos represent social awakening as good vibes only. Jim Carrey giving those interviews where he's everything is meaningless and shallow and all that. And it's okay, I get it, and I get what Jim Carrey is saying and stuff like that, but I just don't think that there's a consciousness expansion or an awakening where you're just good to go forever. Sorry, I shouldn't say that because St. Paul had that crazy conversion and Eckhart Tolle and stuff like that. So who am I to say? I'm just saying that my experience was definitely not okay, now I'm a good vibes only person, because I think we're humans having experiences, and I think there's dark emotions, and I think those are really valuable, and I've talked about this in other videos and blah 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 blah. For me, it's more of a process. So I'm going through all these fun positive things that I've experienced, but it's not quite that simple. Which is fine. It's fine. And I think the purpose of me making this video is for all those people who watch those videos of spiritual enlightenment and consciousness expansion and feel that it is just completely out of their reach, and feel even more alienated because now it feels like an unachievable goal to have any positive changes in your life. I know I really struggled with that, and I think a lot of people of the secret generation kind of felt that. There's nuggets for sure. Anyways, I'm rambling. Back to my list of bragging about all of my positive changes. So the weight loss, just feeling like myself, physically, feeling like I'm having fun in my body. Again, not that kind of fun. Calm down, people. It just doesn't feel inflamed. Like, it just feels tighter. It feels, my digestion feels better than it has in over a decade. Because I definitely had a giant list of digestive issues, which I think I'm going to make a video about, and it has never been better. Like, I'm talking like I eat garlic and I'm okay. I eat a bag of chips and I'm okay. But having said that, my eating habits are better. And don't push that one, because like there was like a Pizza Nova extra garlic sauce night that made me realize that like I was being arrogant. I feel so much better digestively, and it is so amazing. And digestion, I'll go into all that in my next video. Feel less in the future, which is, Jeffrey Allen kind of describes the future as like, that's anxiety. And yeah, I definitely was obsessed with the future because I had this feeling of a failure to launch. I've never fulfilled any purpose. I've never reached my true potential. So my head was always in the future because I already felt like I was behind at where I should be in my life. And like, that feeling's not gone completely, but it certainly is more manageable. And I feel more in the present. When I wake up, I'm not like, I don't want to be here. I don't have that at the intensity that I used to. I feel more motivated just to do the little things, like, you know, clean the cat litter, cook, just do the dishes, like all those like things that don't feel like they're gonna get you anywhere, but by the end of the day, then you're like bummed out that you do nothing. Though I hate my head being in the future. It's the worst. I'd rather be depressed than anxious. Not that that should be a choice or a fun comparison or anything. I feel less needy and insecure, which is, you're welcome, all those people I guess who had to put up with me. I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I'm happier doing my own thing. If something cool comes along, that's amazing. Not to say that I am superhuman. I certainly have vulnerable and needy times. But I mean, overall, I feel way less needy. Like, I don't, if two people are like vibing and I'm kind of like pushing out of the conversation, I don't feel like a sense of, like, I'm just like, that's nice, that's cute that they're vibing on that topic or whatever. I don't feel like left out or anything. Which is something that's been shedding for years anyways. But I definitely, like, throughout my life, I felt extremely left out, but only in your head you feel left out, just like that 90s song says. So I just, things are a little more visible of like, that's a blessing when I'm like vibing with these people and having a great time, and when I'm not, like, that's cool, like I'll go do my own thing, it's totally fine. I do look back at relationships and I just cringe at the insecurity. I think insecurity and abandonment were just like this filter that I saw the world through, and that's dissipating, and I just look back and I'm like, oh boy, like that's what people meant when they were like, relax, or like whatever. It's just memories pop up. Having said that though, I've had 3 boyfriends reach out during COVID, and like kind of apologized for their behavior. One of them was even a letter, because that's the impression that Scorpios leave on you. And he's also Scorpio, so this is normal Scorpio. You know, people think Scorpios are intense, but this Scorpio communication is like completely normal to me. It's not intense at all. It's like finally somebody is like communicating on what I consider a normal vibe. So it's fun. COVID has had like very strange things jumping out like that. Dissipate the energy of the past with boyfriends has been so freeing. It's so nice to be like, yeah, sorry I was a dick, and they're like, sorry I was a dick. It's so nice. It's just, oh, I can't even. It's really made me want to go forward and have better endings to anything. Hopefully less endings. Just sending that out there, universe. Going with that insecurity theme, I also have always felt in a way that I have to settle because I'm too difficult, I'm too intense, I'm too whatever you tell yourself. And it's given me a sense of anxiety, like I gotta get on those apps, I gotta go on these dates, and oh, this guy, it seems disgusting, but like I probably am not gonna get better anyways, like if I was to give it a shot, And I feel a little more free of that. Like, I'm kind of like, yeah, I have a lot to offer. I'm not perfect. I'm a human. But, like, I'm deserving. And not in a, like, you deserve better, girl. But in a, like, hey, like, I'm deserving. It's cool. The right match, I think we can add a lot to each other's lives. So that started dissipating, which is really nice. Because when you're in an insecure state, you just make like stupid, desperate decisions. And I look back at a lot of my thinking and it feels very desperate, very depraved. Like I'm making choices in this like outside of myself, outside of my connection to God, outside of trusting God, but just sort of like something to soothe the momentary, temporary feelings of desperation and insecurity. Which is also why I've never really, I think, been good at, like, the long game, is because I do tend to freak out. And I still, that's something that I still, like, have a hard time when I'm, like, in a storm and need to, like, not talk to anybody, how to not be destructive in that kind of storm. But I have friendships where these things don't even occur, and I never get in little insecurity storms because we're a match. And, you know, there's the right combination of consideration and thoughtfulness that it works. So I think that having like an insecurity storm can be a sign of my own issues, but I think it can also be a sign that I'm not a match with the person. Ramble it up. Same idea, just sort of the conclusion of it is that so much just seems to be just dropping off of me. So many negative things, like I'm feeling jealous, feeling envious of people, feeling anxious, feeling desperate, feeling insecure, feeling like I'm never going to amount to anything, feeling like I don't have enough talent to get anywhere. All of that is just dissipating, and it's changed my thoughts. My thoughts are much more positive, less selfish, whatever. It just feels really nice. Like it feels more fun too. Like life doesn't feel as serious. It feels more fun. Every day feels a little like, let's see what's gonna happen today, because something fun is gonna happen. And how can I open myself up and be more loving? I'm in customer service, so patience and compassion are so difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that's something that I'm ever gonna master, but I'm trying. Not always succeeding, but I'm trying. It's so hard dealing with entitled people. It's so hard, but that's a little bit better. And being grounded to, I'm just less reactive. Like I've had a lot of customer interactions where the person has like calmed down. Like I'm saying less. Because I'm just enjoying being in my own energy, and they're freaking out on the outside. and then the interaction can conclude and they get what they want and they go off, and I'm still in my own energy. It's not always successful, but that experience is happening more and more, where I'm like, I don't really care that you're at where you're at. I don't want to let that in, whether it's entitlement or anger or frustration or whatever. Like, you're just, you keep on to that, you keep that, because I don't want that at all. I will do what I can to help you, and I'm going to remain fairly grounded and quiet, because you're not in a state where I can, illuminate. What else? Another byproduct of feeling like I'm in my own energy is that, like, the customers, I can kind of see better what's somebody else's stuff and what's my stuff. So it's allowed me to take a little more responsibility for my stuff and work on my triggers and what bothers me, and not lay them on like somebody else, as that's, they're the cause of whatever. It's not coming in as much, which is really nice. So I'm not getting as reactive at people's stuff, and not as impressionable too. Like, I'm a little more confident in, like, okay, like, that was a deal breaker for me, or, that's something I don't like. You might be totally cool with it, but, blaming it on myself and being like, oh, Elizabeth, like, you should, it's just because you're so intense or so whatever, that, like, but a normal person wouldn't be so ripped up about that. And now I'm just like, you know what, that's not for me. I think that comes into play mostly with dating. Something like was a boring conversation to me might not be a boring conversation to somebody else, but I used to beat myself up over it and be like, oh, I'm expecting too much, or maybe I need to try harder, whatever. And now I'm more confident in, hey, I've tried my best. I find that a boring conversation. I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to leave it. That person can go find somebody else that's boring. But having said that too, I'm just like, I'm not interested in online dating. Like, it's not like this reactionary thing anymore. It's like, I'm just not interested. It just feels like there's just too many messed up things going on there. Too many inauthentic people. I mean, I've gone on these rants before. You know what I'm talking about. All the Matthew Hussey tricks in the world aren't gonna, like, make somebody into, like, something they're not. I've listened to so many dating videos, and I picked up a lot from them, and I look back at mistakes I've made, and I'm like, I'll do better next time, no problem. But overall, I just I don't think I'm not saying it's not there on online dating, but it's definitely not there for me right now. Futile. It feels like at the moment it's futile for me to try. I'm gonna have to Matthew McConaughey this. So I just read Matthew McConaughey's book when he was, like, done with the rom-coms being unfulfilling, had respect for his time in the rom-coms, no shade, but he got to a point when he's like, I want something more fulfilling. Moved to Texas, told his agent, no more rom-coms, want something better. And his agent's like, no problem, kept offering him rom-coms with a lot of money. And he's like, no. And it took 20 months of no Hollywood to start getting better roles. And his career has been astounding after that. So I almost kind of feel like I'm in my Matthew McConaughey saying goodbye to Hollywood phase. Like, online dating's not going to work. And I'm just saying to God, to the universe, like, nope. Like, it's not good enough anymore. I want that more fulfilling role. I want that role that I can express myself. And it's, mutual. I'm not talking from a selfish space, but you know what I mean. So I feel like all the Jeffrey Allen stuff I've been put in this place where my thoughts are cleaner. They're not as desperate, depraved, sad, whatever. And I'm ready to, like, be in my Matthew McConaughey space and say no to all the things that are not there, that are not going to make me more fulfilled. That's a positive side. There's also been first of all, it's a process, I think. And I mean, I'm in a good space right now, so I'm hopeful. But there are days when I'm just like, oh, like, why, God? Like, oh. And I just turn into like a toddler, and I'm like, you don't care, you've forgotten me. And it's just like, it's heavy and it's hard, and I'm like, what's the point in anything? I should just like live in a bathrobe for the rest of my life and give up on everything. So I mean, I definitely have those times. I do find I bounce back quicker. And the second part of all of, and I do have hope that it's like, it's a gradual transition, you know, like, cause it's building up some momentum. I feel more of the hope and less of the like, what do you want from me, universe? But there's also been like insane storms too in my brain. Whereas I don't know, my 20s are just a blur of drama. So I think I probably lived my entire 20s that way, which seems really like exhausting at this stage of the game. But I have like these run-ins with, you know, old patterns, I would like to say, that trigger me, and it just, I need to be in an inconsolable place. And then I come back and I'm like, I don't need those patterns anymore. Like, I'm ready to shed that. I'm ready to move on. So I don't know. There's been these like a couple episodes of like absolute electrical storms where when I recover, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to like get that out of my system, and hopefully that doesn't happen again, or I can maneuver through it a little more gracefully, because I don't have this need for approval. I like, you know, approval or people to understand me or things to be in a system that works for me or reality to bend to me or whatever. Like, I'm a little happier gliding through it. Notes were semi-organized, but I'm a rambler. It's hard. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Fatty's like taking a bath, doing her fans only stuff over here. And I hope some of you found it helpful, and I just, you know, hope that makes you feel less alone if you're feeling alone. And I'm here struggling through it all too with you on this journey, and take care.